is a sociopath. He doesn't even probably know that he's a freaking liar that's been exposed, but he's still lying. That's bizarre. The Chicago Police Union wants a federal investigation into Cook County State Attorney Kim Foxx's handling of the Smollett case after text messages revealed she was communicating with Jussie Smollett's relatives and supporters about their concerns over his case. Tina Chen, a former aide to Barack and Michelle Obama, sent Kim Foxx an email saying, "Hi, Kim. I sent an email to your work address, I think, as well. I wanted to give you a call on behalf of Jussie Smollett and his family, who I know. They have concerns about the investigation. I'm on an 8 a.m. flight to New York City, but please call me before then. I land about 10:15 Chicago time. My cell is many thanks." In one text exchange with the Smollett relative, Kim Foxx is reassuring. Isn't that nice of her? Reassuring the family that she spoke to the superintendent and asked for a favor. "I'll keep you posted," Fox said in a text. "OMG, this would be a huge victory," the Smollett relative said in a response. "I make no guarantees, but I'm trying," Fox replied. I thought she recused herself from the case, but she's asking the superintendent, the police department, to do her a favor? Let's see. President Trump asked Comey to just deal with Flynn in a decent way, to go light on him, because everybody knows still to this day he didn't do anything, but that was obstruction of justice. This is not obstruction of justice. Read more text messages exchanged between Fox and Smollett's relatives here at the Chicago Tribune. Has them all. Wow. Well, Chicago police furious after State Attorney Kim Foxx dropped charges, and the judge seals it. Went over this via the Sun-Times. The actor who was charged with 16 counts of disorderly conduct for allegedly hiring two men to attack him in a staged state crime attack near his Streetville home in January has reached a deferred prosecution deal with prosecutors that will wipe out all charges against him, and he'll forfeit his $10,000 posted bond. And the police are furious. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, according to TheWrap.com, he calls Jussie Smollett's drop charges a whitewash of justice. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson slams state attorney's decision. "Do I think justice was served? No." Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel strongly condemned the Cook County State Attorney's Office decision to drop all charges, calling it a whitewash of justice. This was a whitewash of justice, Emanuel said Tuesday afternoon during a fiery press conference along Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. A grand jury could not have been clearer. In a stunning reversal, all charges were dropped against Smollett Tuesday morning. All charges. 16 felony counts of disorderly conduct earlier this month. He was accused of lying to the police regarding a January 29th incident in which he said he was randomly attacked by two men shouting racial and homophobic slurs in the Chicago neighborhood. Wow. So the mayor is not happy. The police department's not happy. The union wants Fox investigated for why is she texting people when she's supposed to have recused herself. And let's see how this plays out. Because here's I don't really have time, but you can go on Breitbart, Chicago Mayor Emanuel. He did say, quote, "Is there no decency in this man?" Good question. Now, article here from page6.com. Jussie Smollett could still face federal charges. You may be asking yourself, well, what about the federal? What about the Department of Justice? Well, this article says Jussie Smollett could still face federal charges as the FBI and U.S. Postal Inspection Service are continuing their probe into a threatening letter Smollett might have sent to himself, a report said. Federal investigators continue to probe whether Smollett, who was cleared of state charges on Tuesday, delivered a racially charged letter to the Empire office in Chicago, according to ABC News. A source told the network that the dismissal of the state case has not impacted the federal probe. The hate-filled letter arrived a week before his alleged hate crime occurred. Smollett said in his letter, the letter stated, quote, "You will die black, FAG," unquote, and it cut out magazine letters with a crude stick figure drawing hanging from a tree. MAGA was written in red letters across the envelope, which also had a crushed up white powder in it, later determined to be aspirin. So they could get him on sending a hate letter through the mail to himself, to his job. I hope so. Just like when OJ got away with killing people, right? Killing his wife and the restaurant, the server. But then the idiot went and he wanted his Heisman Trophy back that he lost. So him and some armed guys raided a hotel room in Vegas and took it all with guns drawn, and that put him in prison. So justice was somewhat served there, but he's out. And I'll finish this up quickly. David Axelrod, who was the the former advisor to President Obama, he went off on this, saying he just unloads on the decision to free him. So everybody knows he's guilty. It doesn't matter. When the Soros-funded, dirty state attorney who's texting his Jussie's family and getting one of her staff people emailing her, it doesn't matter if everybody knows. Here's from Breitbart. 7 people who were sentenced for the same thing Jussie Smollett allegedly did. From Breitbart. Quickly. On November 9th, 2011, the RRRstar.com reported a 19-year-old Rockford, Illinois woman received a sentence of 2 years probation and 40 hours of community service. Actually, this one didn't go to jail, so I'm going to correct what I said earlier. But she was on 2 years probation, 40 hours of community service for filing a false report. She was also ordered to undergo counseling. The woman falsely claimed she had been threatened at gunpoint. This is much worse what Smollett did, I think. On August 28, 2012, CBS Chicago reported a 47-year-old Riverside, Illinois woman was sentenced to 18 months probation for filing a false police report. She was also ordered to pay $1,800 in overtime costs to Riverside officials. She falsely claimed that somebody assaulted her. On September 30th, the Daily News reported that a 22-year-old Effingham, Illinois man filed a false report about being shot by someone else. He was sentenced to 30 months probation. He also had to fulfill 100 hours of community service and pay $5,000 in restitution. On July 14th, a 24-year-old Golden, Illinois woman sentenced to 18 months probation for falsely claiming she had been stabbed at a car wash. And November 3rd, 46-year-old Marcellus, Illinois man sentenced to 30 years probation for filing a false report. And another one, 2 years probation. So I stand corrected. They just got years and years of probation, stayed on their records, and they had to do 40 to 100 hours of community service. Jussie Smollett, nothing. Oh, he hung out with Jesse Jackson's group and talked about music for a couple days, hanging out with the family. Because remember, he wouldn't drag through people in his cause through this. So he got off. Everybody else in that list, on their records, probation, 40 to 100 hours of community service, life's affected, but not him. Now, to put an exclamation mark on this, and then we're going to switch back over to the Mueller ending of the collusion witch hunt and kind of the fallout. Empire writers taunt Smollett critics. Slam Chicago journalist. Quote, "You reported a bunch of false information." This is from Julio Rosas. This is from Mediaite. While many expressed bewilderment after all charges were dropped, Empire actor Jussie Smollett for allegedly staging a hate crime, there is one group of people who are happy with the news: the writers of Empire. Tweeting a picture of the TV showing the news on their Twitter account, they said, and the tweet was, a picture was, prosecutors drop all charges against actor Jussie Smollett, CNN. Tweeting a picture of the TV showing the news on their Twitter account said, see y'all Wednesday. In other words, Jussie's coming back because the people got him off. The deep state got him off. The people who know the people got him off. Empire writer Cameron Johnson took it a step further and tweeted at Rob Elgis, a Chicago-based reporter for ABC7 who had been covering the case since it first broke in January. Johnson accused Elgis of reporting a bunch of false information and never retracted it. This is Cameron tweeting to him directly. You reported a bunch of false information, never retracted it. Do your job, yes, but report on leaks that have been proven false is beneath you. So, because he was let go, then anyone that was reporting on this and how a grand jury that said, yes, there's enough evidence that this should go to trial, all of a sudden, everybody should just apologize. Oh, Jussie, we're so sorry that you were wrong. No, let me rephrase that. We're so sorry, the police department and the unions and all of America. We're so sorry that even though you're guilty, because Miss Fox, who was put into her position by George Soros, after texting your family members, had twisted some arms, so her deputy state attorney let you go and took it off your record. So you're walking away as though you never did it. Now the question's going to be, is Empire going to put him back to work? I would say there's probably a pretty good chance of it. All right, let's shift gears and finish up the show here. That thing is just so stinking nauseating. This one was nauseating too for over 2 years. This is from Reuters. Mueller report details to be issued in weeks, not months. That's good news, I think. U.S. Attorney General William Barr plans to issue a public version of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election within weeks, not months, a Justice Department official said on Tuesday. Barr released his own summary of the report's central findings on Sunday, but said he needed more time to review the reports to determine how much of it could be made public. Yes, when you're dealing with thousands of pages. He relayed his plans to release a public version of the report in the coming weeks to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham during a phone call this week, the official said. The official said there is no plan to share an advanced copy of the report with the White House. Some portions of Mueller's confidential report contain materials that arose during secret grand jury proceedings. Federal rules generally prohibit the government from releasing the information to the public. But, of course, the Democrats, because they've lost everything, they have nothing, they look ridiculous, the media looks ridiculous. Well, at least release everything because we could possibly sugarcoat, twist, and try to save some face. So we think you should release as much as possible, if not all of it. The report also contains information about ongoing criminal investigations that Mueller referred to other U.S. attorneys' offices. So there you go. Not hiding anything. Regardless of what the left is saying. Because they're freaking out on Mueller, and they're freaking out Attorney General Barr. And the left's also freaking out on an ex-CIA chief. This is from the Washington Times. He's saying about President Trump now, because remember, He said, "Oh, I am the man, and I